We are back with you after I get myself settled after getting soaking wet doing that presentation a few moments ago. The Senior KF Final about to get underway. I can tell you it's very, very wet outside. Well, Nicholas Nielsen, he lost a race earlier in the year in the wet. Recall the WSK Champions Cup at La Conca Muro Lecese. It was dry until about lap 7, and then the heavens opened. The race was red flagged, and when it was restarted, his engine did not fire. He recovered a week later to win in the dry, but that's not the case here this weekend. Nicholas Nielsen from Denmark will start on pole position. Carol Bash to the right of your screen, the number. The rain is just getting heavier and heavier. Well, we were hoping that the iPhone weather app would prove incorrect. The problem is we dumped it and went for an Android app, and it didn't prove much better. That's Tom Lautenschlag. The rain is really heavy. It's only about 8 degrees outside now. The poor Vega grid girls are getting saturated under the Vega umbrellas even. You can see there's now standing water on this circuit. For the pre-finals it was just greasy and wet, but there's actually puddles forming out on the track as we speak. The rain is getting heavier. Nicholas Nielsen to the left of your screen in the number 201 Tony Kart. He has Carol Bash alongside him. These are the two drivers who many are tipping will fight out the world title later in the year. Of course, they won't have it all their own way. Of course, there's another 30 or 40, in the World Championship case, there'll probably be about 50 or 60 drivers trying to take that title off them. The first round of the WSK Super Master Series. The order was reversed to the grid order we see here this morning. Carol Bash took a dominant win, and he wanted that because he drove for the green team in 2014, switched over to Cosmic for the second. The girls exit at the track. Richard Verschoor, that's him to the left of your screen, 210. The impressive young Dutchman in the Esprit chassis. He is alongside the really cool Spaniard, Petro Hiltbrand for Team CRG. He had a very interesting pre-final, to say the least, but he lines up on grid number 4. The third row of the grid is the American Juan Correa with the Russian Alexander Vartanyan alongside. Juan Correa's engine will not fire. That's him stranded on the grid. One or two others have struggled to get away. Juan Correa, gee, I hope he can get that TM engine fired. And hopefully the airbox hasn't sucked in some rain, just sitting there on the grid. Look at the rooster tails of spray coming off those Vega tyres. It's the front row of the grid. Nielsen and Carol Bash try almost in vain to get some temperature into those tyres, but they will get some friction even in these wet conditions at least. Benjamin Handley, he'll be loving this. His kart wasn't so good in the dry yesterday, but the rain came down and he came home 4th in the pre-final this morning and was looking really, really good. That's him with the yellow helmet, just turning left now. The grid sees Nicholas Nielsen on pole with Bash alongside. Then it's Richard Verschoor, Petro Hiltbrand, Juan Correa, if he can rejoin that 5th grid position alongside the Russian Alexander Vartanyan, the PCR driver. It's the Zanardi kart driver, Benjamin Lassen, alongside the Croc Promotion driver, Ben Henley. Fifth row of the grid is the Dutchman, Martin van Leuven, alongside Leonardo Lorandi. We started this weekend with 37 drivers. A few of them didn't make it through to the final. 34 will face the green in a few moments' time. Led by this man, the cool young Dane from outside Copenhagen, Nicholas Nielsen, driving for the Tony Kart Racing team. Karel Bash from Poland alongside. Then it's Petro Hiltbrand, Richard Verschoor. Look out for Yuri Vips from Estonia. He's way back on the 8th row of the grid. Max Butrell, number 226, for Ricky Flynn Motorsport on the 7th row of the grid. And what about the flying Kiwi, Marcus Armstrong, fastest in practice 1, 2 and 3 on Friday, but then it rained. Marcus is starting out of grid number 12. The race goes green. Nicholas Nielsen leads down into turn number 1 from Richard Verschoor. Karel Bash tries the outside. He tried the same move in the pre-final very, very successfully. Oh, and he's almost going to do it again. We've got a crash between Ben Henley, and it looked as though it might have been Richard Verschoor. Indeed, it was. We got carnage out of turn number 3. Nicholas Nielsen, though, leads Bash. Ben Henley was involved, but has managed to get back up into 3rd place. I don't know how. We'll try and take a look at the replay for you in a few moments' time. Once the race settles down, this is a 20-lap final. And we already lost 3 or 4 karts on the 3rd turn. The rain is super, super heavy. Karel Bash, he started in 2nd. He dropped back to about 4th, but kept the high line, kept the boot into it, and still sits in 2nd spot as Nicholas Nielsen kisses the ripple strips, coming across the line for the first time. We'll see what the first lap of the race is. It's a 1:05, which despite the start not being at full speed is still not real quick. It's more than 20 seconds a lap slower than their qualifying time, despite the grip of these Vega tyres. Bash in 2nd spot. Ben Henley now up into 3rd. We're looking at a podium for the young Brit in the first year of this Croc Promotion team. Matteo Vigano up into 3rd spot. It looked as though, quite sure why, whether Ben Henley thought that he gained a fantastic start by Marcus Armstrong from New Zealand. He is now up into 6th spot, passing 6 karts in the opening lap. Oh, a big move. Henley, any chance of a podium? He's absolutely smashed. Sure who that was. We'll try and pick that up for you. Ben Henley has smashed that nose cone to smithereens. Oh, it was Richard Verschoor. The Dutchman has been sent out of the race by the Brit, who just ran out of brakes going into this race. Matteo Vigano benefits big time. Richard Verschoor is out. Ben Henley will get a black flag. He's got no nose cone left, and we're not talking about the old regulation where the nose cone just dropped to the ground. He has no nose cone. It has been absolutely destroyed. There is broken bits of plastic across the track. And Ben Henley, after looking good for a podium, despite it being only the opening lap of the race, he had the speed, but his race is now effectively over. Out front, Nielsen leads from Bash, the Italian, Matteo Vigano. Ben Henley is in 4th spot, but that will change. Marcus Armstrong from New Zealand's going to move up a spot, which he's already done. There goes Ben Henley. He looks down at the kart. He still keeps going, but he will get the black flag, and he will be out of the race. Fantastic start by 2nd at the Winter Cup at Lonato a few weeks ago, behind this man, Nicholas Nielsen, who took a great win from Bash. Matteo Vigano, Armstrong. Henley still on the road as Bash has a big look down the inside. They almost came to a spot, and Bash has gone through to take the lead. Nielsen will not be happy about that. Bash knows it. Why? Because he blocks the inside. He knows the Dane's right behind him, and now Nielsen has got Vigano. Bash had nowhere to go at that point, so he's smashed over the ripple strip. Vigano has gone past Nielsen. The Italian Matteo Vigano, but he's gone wide. He gets good traction out on the race. Marcus Armstrong from 12th on the grid up into 4th. What a start this has been in the rain. There's the order. Bash from Vigano, Nielsen, Armstrong. Forget about Ben Henley. Unfortunately, the Brit is out of the race. Lorandi, Tom Joyner, and Benjamin Lassane. The Belgium now up into 9th spot. Juan Correa, after not getting away from the grid, is in 19th as Nielsen has a big look on the inside of Vigano. They're side by side out of the hotel hairpin. There's Marcus Armstrong with the orange helmet. Nielsen up the inside. He takes the tight line. Vigano gets the exit. He gets the grip down. Matteo Vigano in the top cart. Perilla powered. He came from the 6th row of the grid. In fact, he started alongside Armstrong. Mechanical defect flag for Ben Henley, who we must acknowledge at this time, surely. And indeed he does. Bad luck for the Brit, who climbed the height. Always been loyal to Armando Fellini, who set up this amazing new Croc Promotion racing team. Really bad luck because he's showed really good speed despite this chassis beast. Your leader is Carol Bash, Matteo Vigano, Nicholas Nielsen, Marcus Armstrong. Nielsen still tries the inside on the outside. Carol Bash, he won the opening round only at quarter race distance. That's Marcus Armstrong, all the way from Christchurch in New Zealand. Made a lot of people stand up and take notice when he took 2nd in the Winter Cup a few weeks ago at Garda. A lot of people didn't know who he was, obviously coming from way over the other side of the world. He said he woke up the next morning after that 2nd place and he had 500 new followers on Instagram, just like that. That's how many people are watching World Karting. That's how many people are watching the WSK series around the world. Well, that's an indication. Just Instagram followers for the 2nd place all around the planet on WSK.IT live for this 2nd round of the WSK Super Master Series here at Castelletto di Branduzzo. That's Bash, sideways under acceleration. We mentioned that he was driving the kart behind him last year. Little bit of a time to adjust, but wow, hasn't he adjusted well, and in both conditions, you should say. At Adria, it was certainly very windy, but it was dry. He won that. Very different conditions here at Castelletto, and he leads. Vigano in 2nd spot, fastest lap of the race. There he is in the Perilla powered top cart. In fact, that's the very combination that took this Colin Brown to the 2000 World Championship way back in 2000. Colin driving a Perilla powered top cart. Won that title at Braga in Portugal some 15 years ago now. Matteo Vigano, it's not the same equipment, but it is the same manufacturers with with engine and chassis respectively. Must confess, I can't recall which tyre they were on. But Colin did win that race on a top cart powered by a Perilla. Matteo Vigano is on a top cart powered by a Perilla, and he's in 2nd spot. He's got the better of the Dane Nielsen, and he's chasing down the leaders. The leader, who was 0.9 of a second ahead last time, and it's actually blown out a little bit that time. Marcus Armstrong wipes his visor. Max Futrell, we haven't seen much of him. That's Lorandi on screen. Leonardo racing for the baby race team. Younger brother of Alessio, who's racing European Formula 3 in 2015. Big look over the shoulder that time by Carol Bash. Not only did he want to know where the competition was behind him, but he wanted to know who it was. It is the Italian Matteo Vigano in the top cart, chasing down the Cosmic. Miguel dos Santos, the Portuguese driver for Scuderia PCR, is back in 14th. One behind Jakub Kadlach from the Czech Republic. Tom Bales ahead of them in 12th. Richard Verschoor, after that huge shunt earlier in the race, has recovered. He's rejoined and remarkably is in 10th spot after dropping down to 15th or 16th position. That was the incident that unfortunately saw the Brit Ben Henley end his race. Armstrong is sideways every time he comes onto that straight. Benjamin Lassane, the 205 Zanardi car, ahead of Tom Joyner, also in the Zanardi car. former world champion out there on the track. And as we mentioned, the 2015 World Championships, as Vigano adjusts the carburetor on that Perilla engine. But yes, the 2015 World Championships at La Conca Muro Lucchese, September 27. The final time we will see these KF engines into life. All new regulations for 2016. They won't have a clutch, they won't have a battery, they won't have a starter motor. Direct drive, light and fast. Back to the future for next year. But until then, we've got the WSK Super Master Series to decide. And Carol Bash is going to have a fantastic points haul if he can hold on to this lead. It's 1.4 seconds. Back to Matteo Vigano, Nielsen, Armstrong, Futrell. That's him on screen. The driver who did a lot of his early years in Singapore. Hi to all our friends at the Singapore KF1 circuit watching us in the Far East. Max doing a lot of his early racing over there. He's gone back to Britain in the Ricky. And he currently sits in 5th spot here at the second round of the Super Master Series. 4 seconds back to Nielsen. That's a surprise. Not many people pick that. Leonardo Lorandi is 34. The Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver. He's up to 15 parts per lap. As they come across the line this time, we'll try and see where the Dane is. He is just ahead of Bale, and Kasparov still takes the wide line. He's got that top cart hooked up nicely at Branduzzo. The 7 Lakes circuit, we'll call it 8 Lakes because there's a new one right where there is the car racing, which last year actually hosted a round of the World Super Motard Championships. A great place to be in summer to enjoy the water sports. But the only water sports taking place today around this circuit with Vega wet tyres as the rain tumbles down. You can see it on your screen. It's heavier and heavier and heavier. Don't forget, we've got the KZKF Junior race. That's going to be sensational. Look at the rain pouring down on the track. Matteo Vigano gets it sideways. That he's got the Top Kart logo and he's also got the Coma logo, the sister company to Top Kart, but he's using the Perilla engine. 7 laps to go now for the pole. The gap is out to 2.5 seconds. As they come across the line, it's actually nearly 3 seconds now, 2.9 seconds. Carol Bash, this is through the final corner. Have a look at that fantastic camera work by our team, bringing you this event from WSK Promotion down into the hotel hairpin. Then we look back to the New Zealander Marcus Armstrong team, looking to do Formula 4. The pedals. Marcus Armstrong, 16 years of age, from Croatia. There's Armstrong, being chased down by the Italian Leonardo Lorandi. Anderson, he made a great charge earlier in the race, but he's stuck there in 15th spot, one behind Tom Butt. An equally impressive race. He started out at grid 32. Martin van Leuven back in 20th spot. That's a disappointment for the Dutchman. Showed great speed this weekend in the dry. Of course, when everyone woke this morning and it was raining outside the hotel windows, thought, well, there goes the dry weather setup. I won't say it was a lottery, but those that had the wet weather setup or lucked it or fluked it or worked it out, they're the ones flying today. Carol Bash was quick in the dry. Give him credit, he's quick in the wet as well, as Lorandi continues to hound Marcus Armstrong. Look at the rain coming in sideways at Castelletto di Branduzzo. 3/4 race distance for this KF final, the WSK Super Master Series. You'd have to say Carol Bash has trees. If he wins here today, he will have won the first 2 rounds. I won't say he's got an unassailable lead, but gee, it's going to be hard to stop at La Conca and then the final at Sarno. This is him throwing it into the hotel hairpin. Plenty of grip in that Cosmic Kart. Inside Ripple Strip. Onto the straight for the 4th last time. There's Matteo Vigano. The gap's blown out to nearly 4 seconds. That's Nielsen coming through. Then we have to look back to Marcus Armstrong, Laurenti Futrell, Benjamin Lassagne, the Belgian, behind him in 7th spot. Then it's Tom Joyner. Pedro Hiltbrand was fantastic in the dry yesterday. Conditions not to his liking, and he is ahead of Richard Verschoor. That rounds out your top 10. Well done, Maxime Potti, the Belgian driver, in 11th spot, ahead of Jakub Kadlec in 12th. Juan Correa, won't he be ruined? Possibly got water in it when the flag was waved green. Position 1 ahead of Tom Bale. Alexander Dahlberg rounds out the 15. Fantastic work by Carol Bash behind. 3 to go for the pole. Matteo Vigano, plenty of confidence in that top cart chassis too. I think Nicholas Nielsen is resigned to the fact that he will take 3rd spot today. There's Marcus Armstrong, 1 step off the podium. A little bit of a gap between him and Laurenti. It's actually half a second, so a little bit of breathing space for Marcus. 50 minutes now, with 2.5 laps to go for the pole. Carol Bash, the most exciting racing prospect to come out of Poland since Roberto Kubica. Despite it being in the Far East, it is a country that's got a strong racing heritage. A lot of rally drivers coming from Poland in the past. Of course, Poland actually all the way back in 1994, before Carol Jarno Trulli. Little bit of trivia for you as Carol Bash reels off another one. Matteo Vigano, 2nd. The gap is 4.5 seconds. Well, points in the bag for Nielsen. And better than a DNF, a 2nd in the first round. He's looking at a 3rd today. Armstrong, 4th. Laurenti, Benjamin Lassagne from Belgium's driving really well. He's in 6th spot. Richard Verschoor all the way down in 10th. Alexander Dahlberg now in 15th. Vigano, I think he's enjoying himself out there. He's got front wheel disc brakes. He doesn't need to throw it in old school style. But he's got a big gap to Nielsen behind him. Bash has a look over his shoulder for only the 2nd time in this race. He had a big look earlier, and no disrespect to any other driver. For the 3rd time he has a look over his shoulder. He's got this in the bag if he can hold on. Matteo Vigano has driven a superb race. There's Nicholas Nielsen, the bottom step of the podium he's looking at. The Dane comes through turn 1 for the last time. Great camera work by the team at WSK Promotion. We can almost read the telemetry of the Dacton data telemetry system. Final time, breaks a little bit earlier that time. This is the hotel hairpin. Could say he's also driving in one at the moment as well. Carol Bash now with 3 corners remaining. He is going to 2015. 2 corners to go. Yeah, KF from Poland for Team Cosmic, Carol Bash. Wow, what a way to take the checkered flag. Matteo Vigano crosses the line in similar style. Nicholas Nielsen a little bit more sedate, but well done, Nicholas. 3rd place today. We wait for Marcus Armstrong. Oh, and there's been an incident with Laurenti. Well, that's going to be interesting. Marcus Armstrong has crossed the line in 4th. Lassagne was 5th. Futrell, Hiltbrand, Tom Joyner 8th. But Leonardo Laurenti, 11th spot, coming into the final turn. Wow. We saw Laurenti and Armstrong, and Lassagne for that matter, all dicing amongst themselves on the final lap. There was contact. The stewards will have a good look at it. Nevertheless, Marcus Armstrong has crossed the line in 4th place. So the pole leads home the Italian, the Dane, the New Zealander, the Belgian, the Brit, the Spaniard. The 2nd Brit home is Tom Joyner in 8th. Richard Verschoor, a good recovery for 9th. And well done to Maxime Potti, home in 10th place. Your winner for the 2nd race in a row from Poland for Team Cosmic Kart, Carol Bash. He won the race by nearly 5 seconds in the end. Vigano 2nd, the Perilla-powered top cart. Nicholas Nielsen, the bottom step of the podium, a good points haul for him. Armstrong from Christchurch in New Zealand was 4th, ahead of Benjamin Lassagne. Juan Correa, bad luck for the American, down in 13th. 1 ahead of Tom Bale. Martin van Leuven, not a great day for the Dutchman in 17th, one ahead of Felicitiane. Sasakorn Chaiman Cole from Bangkok in Thailand, down in 19th spot. A dominant performance, Carol Bash has absolutely, excuse the pun, but he's bashed the opposition into submission. He won at Adria, he's won here in the rain. 2 out of 2 for the Cosmic Kart driver. We have a look at the highlights. Nielsen was your pole setter. Bash took the NASCAR style eyeline and it paid off for him. That was the incident early on. Ben Henley involved. Martin van Leuven also. That's when we lost the Brit. His nose cone smashed to pieces. He was forced to pit after that. Classified as a non-finisher. Matteo Vigano getting past the Dane Nicholas Nielsen. That was as close as they get to the race winner. Carol Bash, a faultless rain in very, very difficult conditions. That's the way to get the checkered flag. Well done, Carol Bash. Matteo Vigano, the Italian, will be delighted. Bravo, Matteo. Ha fatto benissimo. Nicholas Nielsen in 3rd spot. That was the incident for 4th. Armstrong and Lorandi coming together, but it doesn't affect the podium. Carol Bash wins it from Matteo Vigano. Nicholas Nielsen 3rd. We'll bring you the podium presentation in just a few moments.
Noi siamo pronti? Siamo pronti, posso dargli il via?
C'è lui.
Luca, siamo pronti?
Categoria KS, concorrente Enrico Matteo, conduttore numero 229, commissario Fortini. Attention category KS. Entrance, British Motorsport, driver number 225 to the steward. Attenzione prego, categoria KS, concorrente
Vai.
We'll get underway with the We'll get underway with the podium presentation for Senior KF as quickly as possible because of the rain here today. We'll call to the podium in third place. Well done for the Tony Kart Racing team, Nicholas Nielsen. In second place for Top Kart Parilla, Matteo Vigano. And the winner, 2 races in a row. Well done, your winner, Carol Bash. The third place trophy for Nicholas Nielsen. Second place, bravo Matteo Vigano. And the winner for Cosmic Racing Department from Poland, Carol Bash. Now stand by for the national anthem of Poland. Your podium for Senior KF, 2 out of 2 for Carol Bash. We'll try and make it as quick as possible thanks to the rain. Well done. The winner, Carol Bash, Matteo Vigano and Nicholas Nielsen.